Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. My name is Barbara. If you're new around these parts, I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, please say hello in the comments and let me know what state you're coming in from if this is your very first time stopping by my channel. And for those that have been here, thank you so much. But y'all, today is an exciting day because we get to do a garden tour for the month of May. I am sliding in on the last week of May to show you how well things are growing here on the farm, what's doing well, what's not doing so well, where we make some changes, all the good stuff. So if you're brand new, we have three main spaces that we garden in. Right now I'm standing in my very first garden space that I started 5 years ago, which is behind my house. My husband built me 4 raised beds back in April 2020, and my gardening journey kicked off from there, and now 5 years later I have multiple garden spaces. But it started all back here in my backyard with 4 raised beds. Then we added a 5th raised bed, and so back here behind my house we primarily grow our garlic in the fall. We do spring we do onions in the spring, and in the summer we do our second succession of tomatoes, peppers, and things like that. So what you're going to see today is what's been in here since the fall and the spring, and then we also have green stalks back here in the back of the house. So this is space number 1. Space number 2 is we have a hot tunnel that is 30 by 96. In that hot tunnel we have 6 raised beds, and then we also have 5 in-ground rows that are 45 feet long each. And then, and there's more, we also have an outside garden space that we use just for the summer, for our summer garden. And it is 4,000 square feet, and we have 8 100-foot rows out there in that space. So the tunnel that you'll see next on this video, that's where we garden 24/7, 365 all year long in the hot tunnel. But then in these other spaces is at certain times of the year. But let's start back here at the back of the house. Let me show you how the green stalks are doing, and then we'll move over to the raised beds. Then I'll tell you about plans for when these things come out very, very quickly in the next week or so, what we're going to do back here to ramp up even more for the summer. And so let's start with our green stalks. If you're brand new here and you're new to green stalks are a vertical gardening system that you can see behind me. We have 4 in different colors, shapes, and sizes. I've done tons of videos on green stalk. If you are interested in getting one of these vertical gardening systems, then definitely make sure that you use my code, which is LFF10. You can get an extra $10 off whenever you place your order, if your order is over $75 or more. So you definitely want to make sure that you notate that code and use my code if you decide to get a green stalk. I 100% say every gardener should have a green stalk. Whether you have all this land like me or whether you have a small patio, get you a green stalk. But our green stalks are doing well. So in the top we have our onions. These onions were not planted until, I want to say, mid-March. So they still have about another, I would say 3 to 4 weeks to go. And I'm experimenting growing the onions in the green stalk to see how they do. But also we have a pepper here. Then we also have here some parsley, as you can see, various herbs. Then we have petunias in terms of flowers. This is a calendula that I just actually harvested the other day. So you can see as I spin this around, this planter right here is mostly onions at the top, a couple of herbs, but mostly flowers near the bottom. And then we have some rosemary down here. So then when we go over to our other green stalk, this right here, we still have onions at the top growing here. Again, we're experimenting. I've never done that in a green stalk, so we're experimenting. And then you see we have some lettuce that is still yet hanging on, which I'm surprised with the temperatures. And then we have some sage growing here. Again, this is mostly herbs and flowers. You see I got a nasturtium that's going to be draping real soon. I'll just spin it around so you can see. But this is basically herbs and flowers. You can see that there. We got some chamomile. We have some spearmint in the bottom. We got some lavender right there. So overall, looking great. Our third green stalk, which is one of my favorite colors for the green stalk, is this lilac color. And y'all look at here. Do y'all see these tomatoes? Look at that. This is a patio tomato variety, and they are looking so good. You see those? They look so good. And then I have some lettuce there, a petunia that's blooming. We even have a pepper right there. coming up. That looks good. And then the rest, again, flowers and herbs. And then the latest one that they launched during the Mother's Day sale was the 3-tier. So this is cherry blossom in the 3-tier. We have mostly just flowers in here. I do have a pepper or so right there, but this is just mostly herbs and flowers. You can see that it's doing well also. So overall, the green stalks are looking good. Now let's go over to our first bed here. So this is one row of garlic on the right hand side that will be coming up very soon. Then we have some celery, a marigold, calendula. I actually just harvested some flowers earlier today. More celery, marigold in the back. And then all the way back there, we have some chamomile. This is my first time growing chamomile. I have not seen any blossoms yet, but good. But this one, y'all, looks like something is happening, like it's dead, and I don't know why, because it's right beside the one that looks good. And there was one right here that wasn't doing good that I pulled up. So I'm not sure what's going on right there. If you have some chamomile tips, let me know. So that's this bed. Then when we go over to the other bed, this is my other bed of garlic. We have 2.5 beds of garlic out here. So you can see I've harvested all the garlic scapes so far. You can see I got yellow tips. So this garlic was planted in October. So it'll be ready to harvest next week. Oh, there's one scape that I missed, but I got plenty of scapes. And then the second bed is also garlic, planted in October. And we have different kinds. So when we harvest it, I'll do a video and I'll tell you the different kinds that we planted, because we did do some new kinds as well. And you can see again, yellow tips. I harvested scapes about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So it's looking good and almost ready to come out. And then these last 2 beds are onions, candy onions, and then Texas sweet. This bed is moving slower than the one I'm going to show you beside it. I do have some bulbing, but not nearly as much, and they were planted at the exact same time. But those things happen. Like, it's bulbing, and you can see that, but it's not bulbing all in there. It's like spotty. But over here, I definitely have bigger bulbs. You can see that there. Those are looking good. And then look, I got some already laying down, which tells me they're ready. These are laying down. So they are definitely getting ready. I always find it so interesting how the plants will tell you when they're ready. So when it comes to onions, first you have to know the maturity date. So the maturity date on these onions that I have are about 80 to 90 days. So that will be literally the 90th day was this week. I'm waiting just a few more days just because it's been raining so much. And so yes, I can pull them because for the most part I'm going to cure them anyway, but I prefer to harvest them when the soil is drier and not soppy wet. So we have rain in the forecast all week long. Shocker. This is just a moment in time that I waited for. But I'm going to probably harvest those next week along with the garlic. But the onions, you can see that they are turning brown and they flop over when they're ready. Like, look, sis, I'm done. Come get me. So the plant will tell you, but also I know the maturity date and I know that when I planted them. So it's important to keep good records of when you plant stuff. So that way you know what you should be saying around what time. And then when it comes to the garlic, it tells you it's ready. If you're doing hardneck garlic, it sends up a scape. And once you harvest a scape, or not even once you harvest a scape, once you see the scape, about 3 weeks later, your garlic is ready to harvest. When you snip that scape, that garlic scape, it gives the message to the plant to make a bigger bulb, to focus its energy on bulb growth versus growing a scape, because the scape is eventually going to turn into a flower going back to seed. So that's why you want to harvest the scapes, not just because they're a culinary delight, but because it's going to send a signal to the plant for it to go back and put in production a bigger garlic bulb. And so about 3 weeks later, your garlic is ready to harvest. So it's ready. Again, I'm just waiting for the soil to dry up just a tad. So as you can see here, I have 5 beds full of stuff that is about to come out, except like the celery and stuff like that. So really I got 4.5 beds ready to play with. So I'll have all of these spaces open in little bit, just like over a week, and I am super excited. So what's going to go in these beds? So I'm going to be doing sweet potatoes back here. I did sweet potatoes for the first time back here last year, and they turned out great. I normally have done them in my tunnel, but I'm going to do, I think, 3 beds of sweet potatoes, and then I will have a bed of peppers and tomatoes, and then of course I'll be throwing in some flowers. So I haven't quite all worked it out beside the sweet potatoes, but I'll definitely take you along with me as we plant these beds for the summer. So it's exciting because we get to play once again. Once again. So that is pretty much the backyard on space number 1. Now let's head down to the high tunnel and let me show you what's growing down there. Before we stop by the tunnel, let me show you my planters. So if you watched my video from a couple of weeks ago and y'all saw my dilemma with these planters, oh my goodness, thank you guys so much for all of your comments, your kind words, and your encouragement. Now, to address the holes that I didn't put in the bottom, I forgot to put the holes in the bottom, but we did go back and there was actually a drain plug. So all we had to do was pop the drain plug and we were able to let the water drain from the plants. Also, you guys were right. Once they filled out, I think they look really, really good. I'm really, really happy with them. And this was my first foray into this, but I can tell you it won't be my last. Thank you guys so much. Now let's go look at the tunnel. So on this video, I'm going to take you through the high tunnel and let you see how things are growing here in the month of May. At the time of this video, it's like going into the last week of May. And so most things from a summer perspective have been in the tunnel about a month, about 30 days. About the last week of April is when we planted all the summer stuff. We do still have like some of the stuff we planted earlier than that I would consider more spring crops. But let's take a look and let's see what we have going on. We'll start with our first raised bed right here on the right. Y'all, I'm gonna say this probably about every bed. This is one of my favorite beds. This is our herb bed, and so we have lots and lots of herbs in here. Right here in the corner, we have parsley that we have harvested at least 4 times already. We have some chives, we've harvested a ton. Lemon thyme right there that we've harvested a ton. And then y'all see all this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful celery. It is almost at the point when you can start harvesting it. You can see that there. I like for the stalks to be a little bit bigger. It literally, you can just take the stalks that you need and it'll keep regrowing. But it is looking gorgeous. And then this is our sage tucked in the corner there. And then over there we have our lavender that is doing well. So here's my lavender. It is doing so well. I did a new variety this year. I think this is called Origami. It's from Baker's Creek. But I've never had successful lavender, so I really don't even know when to harvest it. So y'all tell me, have I waited too late? Or am I just on time? Or it's not time yet? Let me know. But it's growing quite well. Like, see, some of those blossoms seem already spent, for lack of a better word. So yeah, and it's growing. I mean, it's kind of growing wild too. It's kind of taking over, which I didn't expect. Let's see if we can get it to be more out here. And then in the corner, I have some rosemary that is growing very, very, very well, which I'm most excited about. And then I have more parsley there. I have just some regular thyme there, some chives. We have a sunflower in the back. We have some lettuce, red romaine lettuce, some more lettuce here, pepper, and then a celosia. So in this bed, I have vegetables, herbs, and flowers. I did a complete video talking about companion planting, and in every bed you want to have a vegetable, an herb, and a flower. But yeah, y'all, this lavender is bigger than anything I've ever grown before. This is 2 different lavender plants. It smells amazing, y'all. So this lavender is a key example of growing something and you don't even know what you're gonna do with it. Because I've tried to grow it a few times before, and I have grown it successfully, but I think I waited too late and then it died, and just not knowing what to do, how to do, and all that, because I'm still learning. That's why we call this a gardener's journey. But y'all give me some help down in the comments about lavender. The Google says says to harvest it when a third to a half of the blooms are open. I think that's now. And it said if you're going to use it for medicinal purposes, that's when you want to harvest it. If you're going to use it for like craft or ornamental purposes, then you can get the ones that are most dried. But I need to watch a video. Like, I don't even know. This is one thing that I don't know. I have never done. So I don't know if I cut it all the way at the base. The flowers are so small, I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I want to save it and dry it. So I don't know. Y'all help me out. Help me out in the comments. Let's go take a look at another bed. Okay, another one of my favorite beds. This is the bed right beside it. And this is what we call our pollinator patch. So this bed is nothing but flowers to bring in the pollinators and also just to be a place of beauty. This new flower right here, the camera is not doing it justice at all, but it is so wispy and beautiful. Like, I love her. It is an ornamental grass, and I bought it to put in like bouquets as a filler. I just think she's so pretty. She's just like so whimsical and pretty. I love that. And then we also have lettuce in this bed that is still doing quite well, which is surprising because we do not have our shade cloth on yet. This is coleus that we grew from seed. It is growing very, very nice and beautiful so far. This right here is craspedia. This is my first time growing craspedia. It's gonna hopefully flower at some point. Then we have zinnias. I've already started to prune my zinnias so that they will bush out. I'll talk a little bit about that. This right here is Persian cress. It also is a filler for flowers. It's my first time growing it. It's supposed to like put up, I think, some shoots or something, but it hasn't done that yet. And then we have a big old sunflower getting ready to pop right there. Then we have a nasturtium tucked in there somewhere. And then look at the celosia coming up. So very pretty. This is also another celosia that's going to be new to me. It's called Yellow Queen. I think she's going to be pretty. And flower arrangements. And then look at our calendula popping. So I got 3 blooms I can get today. And I got a question about calendula I'm going to ask you guys as soon as I show you this bed. And then I have our lettuce that for the most part is still doing okay, which is surprising because there's no shade cloth in here. More calendula here. We got more blooms we can get. I think this is going to be the most calendula I'll get in one day. So it's my first time ever growing calendula, and it will always be in my garden. So, so pretty. And then we got a nasturtium bloom tucking in back there. So overall, this bed is going to be full of flowers. So here's my question when it comes to calendula. It's my first time ever growing calendula. And so I'm growing it for the medicinal properties because I want to make calendula salve, which is great for like insect bites. It's like nature's Neosporin. So that's why I'm growing it. I didn't realize how beautiful it is. So it'll always be in the garden. But what I'm finding is like I'm harvesting like 1 or 2 blooms max a day, which makes it hard to preserve, so to speak. Because what I want to do is I want to freeze dry it or dehydrate it or just dry. But getting 1 or 2 a day is not enough for me to freeze dry. And so I've just been putting them on a plate, on a counter, out of direct sunlight and drying them that way. But is that for those of you who grow calendula, like do I need to grow like a whole row of it to get tons of blooms at one time? Or tell me what the secret is, because it's hard for me to freeze dry it because I'm not getting a lot at one time. So this will be the most blooms I've got today, which will be like 5 or 6. So I'm just collecting them as I go. But if you have any tips or suggestions, let me know. Okay, this bed here is in switchover. So that is russet potatoes left in the bed that we're waiting for them to mature. You guys saw last week I harvested half of this bed that were Yukon Gold potatoes here. And so I'm going to be planting the rest of this bed with green beans. We have not yet done green beans yet this season. So that's what's going to go there. But right now the bed is kind of like in between transition. Now let's go to the other side. This bed here, again, beautiful, lush, vibrant. This is our spicy pepper bed. But we have tons of herbs in here as well. So starting with basil, you can see my basil, because I have pruned it, it's already starting to get bushy, which I love. I can actually come in and harvest that. Right here, we have 2 peppers tucked in. Look at my eggplant. Y'all, my eggplant has never, ever, 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 ever looked this good. Ever. I'm going to tell you about it in just a minute. So there's an eggplant there. You can see I got some purple flowers, which means I'll be having eggplant soon. That's a marigold. There's some thyme tucked in there. More peppers. More peppers. Another eggplant. So I have like 3 eggplants in this bed. Y'all, more lavender, which is awesome. And then look at my rosemary. It is taking up the corner space like I am the boss. And then we have a marigold. And this is new to me. This beautiful purple, I think it's called opal basil. I got this. I want to say this is from Erica, the suggestion. I think she grew this last year and told me about it. So I decided to do it. If I have the wrong subscriber, y'all let me know. But I think it was Erica. And then look at my Dusty Miller. So, so beautiful, y'all. I love her. Oh, y'all, we got a jalapeno. I didn't even see that. Let's take a look. Look at that, y'all. Our first jalapeno. How sweet is that? Oh, look at that. That's a cayenne pepper. You see how big that is? That's the red ember. Oh, we have more. Y'all, I didn't even notice that. It's hard to see because it's all green. Look at that. And then we got another one. Let's see. Look at that. I didn't even know, y'all. Didn't even know. But yeah, this bed is pretty. And like these are just growing so tall and big. So looking great. Then let's move over to this bed. This bed here, you got deal as the backdrop. You can see that it has flowers. This is bouquet deal, the tall mammoth deal. Then I have a shorter deal right here. Look at that when it flowers. So, so beautiful. So beautiful. And then we have some cilantro there that we need to harvest. We have holy basil. It's my first time growing holy basil. Or it's called Tulsi. But yeah, this is holy basil. My first time growing it. Let me see what it smells like. It smells medicine-y like. And then we have another eggplant there. Another eggplant. We have aroma tomato here. Cinnamon basil. That's a new one for me this year. Another aroma. Coleus. And then look, we have a little tiny tomato, aroma tomato growing there. And then we have some lettuce. So again, I really focused heavily this year on companion planting. I focused a lot on companion planting, and you can see that some beds are more intensely planted than others. And then the very last bed that we have in here, this is the non-spicy pepper bed. So the peppers that are in here are non-spicy. We have some beautiful lemon basil there. Another pretty coleus. A pepper. Nasturtium in the corner. Oh my goodness, y'all. Let me get over here. We got some big old peppers. Y'all, do you see this? Look at that. She just got to turn red now. That's the Ajvarsky pepper, which is a roasting red pepper. Look at that basil. That is this cinnamon basil? Let's see. I think it's cinnamon basil. But it looks like cardinal basil, which I didn't grow any cardinal basil this year. Huh. I don't think I have a tag. No, it says cinnamon basil. It's my first time growing it, so maybe that's what it looks like. The purple basil. More peppers. Do you see how big that is? Marigolds. Dusty Miller tucked in. So overall looking good. So y'all, every year, every season that I garden, I do the tried and true, but I do some new things, and you learn as you go. And so one of the things that I really focused heavily on this year is I planted a ton more flowers, specifically marigolds, to help with pests and insects and things like that. Plus I had a ton of them. And also I did a much better job of companion planting and really trying out some new things this year. And so I'm really adopting this philosophy of threes, which means in every bed I have a flower, an herb, and a vegetable, right? So even if it's a pepper bed, I'm going to have a flower in there and I'm going to have an herb. And so when it comes to my eggplant behind me, if you've been following me, you know that I have never been successful, never been successful at eggplant. In 4 years, I have not been successful at eggplant. I think of the full-size eggplant, I may have grown 2, and I really only remember 1, but I'm gonna give myself 2. But then last year I did the fairy tale eggplant, which is a small eggplant, and that was successful, but I wasn't as big of a fan as the fairy tale eggplant. It is great if you find a customer that wants to buy it and is a good seller in that regard, but to me it's too small to do anything with. I guess you could just chop it up and grill it and, have it with, a side as a side or something like that. But this year I went back to the tried and true, the old Black Beauty eggplant. But the problem I've had with my eggplant is that when they're started as seeds in my house, they are absolutely beautiful. As soon as I put them outside in the soil, about 2 weeks later, they are riddled with pests and bugs. Now, last year when I did the fairy tale eggplant, I had a peppermint in a pot, and I put the pot inside the bed by the eggplant, and it did well. This year, my pot that has peppermint in it is actually too big. But what I did was I surrounded this eggplant. I have basil on one side, marigold on the other side. I have a cinnamon basil right in front of it. Like, it is covered on all sides, just like the angels. It is covered. That eggplant is covered. And so I got to think that that's helping, because my eggplant has never gotten this big. The plant itself has never gotten that big. It is always gets to a certain size. The insects destroy it, and then I have to get rid of it. Now, some people have told me, oh, when that happens, just let it stay and it'll come back. Okay, and I was going to do that this year, but I ain't had to do that because it is looking so good. Now we just need eggplant. But that's one of the things, again, that I've tried to do in all of my spaces is really focus heavily on companion planting, because companion plant is good for your soil. You want to have diversity in your beds. You do not want a whole bed of just squash. You don't want a whole bed of just thyme. Like, mix it up a little, okay? Mix it up. Get some diversity in your beds. It's great for your soil health, but also is going to help to repel pests and insects. And y'all, I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I'm picking up what I put down, okay? All right. So now let me just show you the containers around the perimeters of the beds and how they're doing. And then I'll show you the 2 metal raised beds, and then we're going to go to the in-ground. I have containers kind of outside of most of the beds. So this is like a regular mint. I need to come in and harvest. This right here is a spearmint that smells wonderful. Over here we have lemon balm. This is yarrow. This is actually a sedum plant that I'm growing for my front yard that I just started in a pot last fall, and it's just now decided it wants to come to life. This right here is strawberry mint, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is actually spearmint. The other one was peppermint. I harvested this last week. And then this is strawberry mint right there. This is another lemon balm in a container. And then this is the eucalyptus that we took from the other bed. Right now, it's not putting on any new leaves, but I haven't counted her out. It's just brown, but I haven't counted her out. We'll see what happens. And then this is the new eucalyptus that we started from Sneed, which is a small leaf gum eucalyptus. And so far, she looks okay. And then in our containers, we have eucalyptus original. She's the queen of all eucalyptus, and look at all these new, this new growth. Y'all, do you see this? All of this new growth. Oh, y'all, I need to harvest so bad. Okay, and then look at my comfrey in all her glory. She is taking up this bed like nobody's business. She's like, I'm not sharing with anybody. Okay, and then And then here in this bed is sage and oregano. Same story. I did harvest a ton of sage. I haven't harvested any oregano yet, but I need to harvest a lot of these right here. But let me show you the stuff in the blueberry pots, because let me give y'all an update on that. Now, like, look, this one is doing good, y'all. I got little small blueberries, but nothing big, but it's doing good. This one, something is happening. I'm not counting her out yet. And then that one's doing nothing. Now, y'all told me that this one and that one wasn't gonna do anything, but this one is doing something. She got green on her. And this one is looking good, but still no blueberries. Now let's go to the end ground of the tunnel, our peppers and cucumbers. So let's go down this first row. Basil, a nasturtium. We have a zucchini that's starting to form. That is a lemon basil. Peppers, jalapenos, more marigolds, peppers. This is a lettuce that is yet hanging on. It's been out here for a long time, ready to come out. And then peppers. Then down here on this trellis are all of our cucumbers. Y'all, OMG, I actually have cucumbers. Oh, I wasn't recording when you didn't hear me scream. Look at that. Can't even see. Didn't even know. Look at that. Cause y'all, oh, there's another one. Cause all I've been seeing are them forming. I hadn't seen. See, I was prepared to show you this, the cucumbers forming. I didn't realize I actually had some cucumbers. Unbelievable. Look at that. We're gonna take her right on in the house. Unbelievable. I see I wouldn't say quite a few. I see like 3 or 4. Definitely. Okay, so these 2 rows here, the middle row and then this end row, are all peppers all the way down. Look at that pretty marigold that's branching out. I haven't seen any peppers as of yet, but peppers take a minute. There's a little one forming there. They always are like later to the party, but they're looking good. Oh, okay. I stand to be corrected. Look at that right there. That's a miniature size one that's gonna grow up and be big. And then sunflower hasn't bloomed yet, but it's close. So overall, this is mixed in with basil, marigolds, and all of that. Then the next 2 rows are all tomatoes. So let's start down here at the end. There's a sunflower. Yo, look at this. Oh my goodness, y'all. I got red tomatoes. Look at that. Didn't even know. We'll be getting those. So pretty. Okay. Now I like this nasturtium color, this light pale yellow. That's really pretty. I did not even know I had those red tomatoes. I'll be taking those into the house. First tomato of the season. I definitely have plenty of work to do out here with the tomatoes. It's a weekly job of pruning and clipping. But you can see we have tons of yellow flowers, tons of little small tomatoes forming clusters. The cherry tomatoes are always the first ones. Then we also have some slicers forming. You can see there and there and there. There's an eggplant. And look, y'all, there's nothing beside this one, and it's looking pretty okay. Now, these holes and stuff, that's definitely some insect damage, but I count that. It's still to the good. I'm not worried about that because she's still standing. More slicing tomatoes there. Unbelievable, y'all. Another nasturtium. Tomatoes are looking, y'all, there's way more tomatoes out here than I even knew. When I was out here the other day, it was not nearly that many. Unbelievable. Tons of flowers and clusters forming there. Now this row that's closer to the aisle was planted about 2 weeks before this row in the back, because remember we had the whole ant issue that we're taking care of, so we don't have as many tomatoes on this back aisle as we do the front aisle, but that's to be expected. So overall, looking very good. So y'all, I am so pleased, and there were some surprises because y'all would say my first time reaction, because I had not seen that. I had not walked the complete tunnel. It's probably been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or so. I came out here yesterday just to do like a cursory look, and I really just kind of looked down the way, anything falling on the ground, that kind of thing. Because I've been having some challenges for the last week or so. But anyway, things are looking good. I did not know I had cucumbers, did not know I had tomatoes. So I got a couple of cherry tomatoes ready to harvest. I got plenty of herbs to harvest. And so again, this is the summer press. Trying to stay on top of the summer garden is like, it's like you're running a marathon, but you need to be sprinting and not taking the long route, okay? Every day is a sprint, but we do the best that we can while we can, when we can, and we leave the rest to just be. The garden is still resilient. It is still going to produce, even though if you don't harvest it right today, harvest it tomorrow. But y'all, that is the May garden tour for the outside of the back of my house and also the hot tunnel. I will do a separate video for a garden tour for the outside garden, since that's a larger space. We'll kind of go through that, and more rows to walk, so this video won't be too long. But let me know in the comments if you prefer for me next month and the succeeding months to do all 3 spaces at one time or break it up into 2. Let me know your thoughts if you have a preference either way. But y'all, I hope that your gardens are doing well. I know that some of you are way ahead of me because you planted before me, like you're in warmer zones. Then I know that some of you are behind me, meaning that you're just now planting out your stuff maybe a couple of weeks ago. But wherever you are and whatever your garden looks like, I hope that it's bringing you joy. I hope that it brings you abundance. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And remember, gardening is a journey. Y'all, we just getting started. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.